Before I start the show, I want to let you know I tried Upline's Steezy Golden Lager and Crushin' IPA this week, and they're delicious. If you're on your way to Whistler and want to try one, pop into Bluebird Coffee Tuning and Rentals in Squamish, find Brian, and take a guess at the number between 1 and 100 I've chosen. If you guess correctly, you get to be one of the first Canadians to try Upline beer. Thank you, Carl, for providing such an excellent zero-alcohol beer. I also need to thank Whistler Blackcomb for providing me with a day pass. We rode last week at Artie's birthday and got the goods, so thank you, Whistler Blackcomb, North America's largest mountain resort. I have a few 1910 shirts that I'll be selling this week on the FNRad website to raise money for Wish, Chill, and Save a Brain. When those are sold, I'll do the draw for the PJ Gustafson Pro Model Death Label snowboard, so hopefully next week or the week after. Lastly, Mount Baker opening day could happen this week if the forecasted snow drops, so hopefully see some of you there. The FNRad Snowboard Podcast is presented by Flojoy Water. Season 7 is sponsored by Burton Snowboards, founded in 1977 by Jake Burton Carpenter. With nearly 50 years of industry-leading innovation, Burton's purpose is clear: make great products, minimize harm to the environment, positively impact the lives they touch, and have as much fun as possible. All the Burton gear I've been riding is next level. For listeners in the Lower Mainland, Burton recently opened a flagship store on West 4th in Vancouver, as well as a partner store in Banff with Unlimited. Visit your local Burton retailer. Bluebird Coffee Tuning and Rentals in Squamish, BC is the coolest new stop just 20 seconds off the Sea to Sky Highway on your way to Whistler. Drop in for the world's best cup of coffee, killer smoothies, and a true local vibe born out of 90s snowboard culture and music. They offer performance ski and snowboard tunes with state-of-the-art equipment. They've got premium rental fleets of Jones, Solomon, Libtech, and Burton, including Burton Step-Ons. And if you haven't gotten yourself one yet, Bluebird will even sell you a rad power bike. These bikes are so fun. For a blend of expert knowledge, convenience, and a lot of charm, stop in and say hi to Bluebird, the raddest mandatory new stop on your way to Whistler. Fixed bindings are tool-free bindings that focus on dependability and strength while providing ease of adjustability. I've been riding fixed bindings for a couple of seasons now and have had exactly 0 issues. It's no wonder they've got a lifetime guarantee. Do yourself a favor and visit fixedbindingco.com. Lock in and let go with Anon's magnetic face mask integration, built to keep you seamlessly covered from the elements, and Magnatech quick lens change technology that makes swapping lenses effortless even with gloves or mitts on. Enhance contrast and clarity with perceived lenses and get the most accurate perception of the surrounding environment regardless of light and weather conditions. Clarity starts where distraction ends. Full face coverage, complete presence. Check out Anon's helmets, goggles, and MFI face masks at an Anon dealer near you or at AnonOptics.com. Hey listeners, this one's for you. Upline Brewing is beer for snowboarders by longtime Pacific Northwest shredder and FNRad listener Carl Montoya, who started Upline so you can crack a cold one anytime. No buzz, no slowdown, just good vibes. Unlike most NA beers, these actually taste legit and they're brewed with adaptogens for a mellow uplift. The Steezy Golden Lager and Crushin' IPA come in at just 25 and 50 calories and feature artwork from local legends like Quincy Quigg. Have one at lunch, grab another lap, hit the after party, and still wake up for first chair or the bank slalom podium. Drinking regular beers, toss some Uplines into the lineup. The natural electrolytes help you stay hydrated and keep crushing. FNRad listeners score 15% off at uplinebrewing.com with code FNRAD, or set up a subscription, save more, and never run out. Upline Brewing, brewed to adapt, crafted to elevate. Support also comes from the Pro Standard. Ken Achenbach has done it again with the push-button quick release for step-on bindings. Get them at prostandard.com before they sell out. Pacific Border, Vancouver's premium snow skate and surf shop on West 4th Avenue. Check out pacificborder.com. And 1910, the collaborative artworks of Jamie Lynn and Scof, Two friends on a creative journey together, bonded by their love of art, music, and snowboarding. Go to the number 9, teen10.com for their latest collection. We need to thank our friends at Mount Seymour, Grouse Mountain, and Cypress Mountain for their continued support of FNRad, as well as Essential Toothpaste tabs. I love them. I use them. Go buy them today. Lucas Beaufort is currently touring the world with his dream child, The Common Line, a mix of the snowboard community, industry, and the general public in an attempt to bring more inclusion. The Common Line Whistler event included live art, lots of giveaways, and keynote speeches from possibly the greatest gathering of Canadian snowboard community leaders ever. Originally, Lucas planned to partner with The Circle, but the new Evo rental building provided much-needed space because hundreds of people attended and gleaned knowledge from an incredible list of snowboarders. The next day, Lucas rode with a huge group, giving away cash for tricks and creating the first of what will obviously be many years of community gatherings supported by industry brands. I caught up with Lucas down in Vancouver and did this rogue interview before driving him and Penelope, who's helping him along the Common Line tour, to the airport, where they headed to Seattle for stop 2 at Tactics. Lucas Beaufort kind of came out of nowhere for me. I recognize his art, but I never really heard of him before last weekend. I'm glad I tracked him down. He's absolutely infectious in his enthusiasm for bringing together the community. Cheers, dude.
Cheers, my friend.
All right. Get into this story. I love it. I love what you pulled together in Whistler. It was unbelievable. It was like exactly what we needed right now.
Well, I'm this guy coming from France with big dreams. Since my young age, I was always like this black sheep on the family, you know, like never wanted to follow rules or do things that people ask me to do. And I was this kid, you know, just like, I want to do my own thing. And then fast forward 44 years later, I'm here. I was in Whistler for the Common Line, and it's a long journey, but what a fucking time, you know, from a young kid that had big dreams to now just floating around this incredible culture, which is snowboarding and skateboarding. This is my blood, and I'm 44 and I'm still around, and I'm so hyped.
So the only French guy I can think of that I've spoken with is Regis, but I mean, you guys have David Vincent, like that. He's your Jamie Lynn, right? Still, I don't know. I also read the story of Marco Siffredi and his solo ascent of Mount Everest, and then he disappeared during that. Like, really interesting stuff. But I think of France as like wine and cheese and just bougie one-piece suits and Alps. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a gritty core scene there too, right? Like, is that where you kind of come from?
I love you mentioning David Vincent. Let's say the French way, David Vincent.
Please.
I would say also Guillaume Chastagnol, that was like one of the best freestyler half pipe back in the days.
Oh, Arthur Longo too.
Arthur Longo came after.
Yeah,
but when well, of course you know. But
yeah.
When I started snowboarding, I didn't know about magazines and stuff, so it was very local. So my heroes were the local, you know, from the southeast of France, where I used to go to Oron, Isola 2000. That was my crib, you know, and the local were the Reapers. And I was just like, they inspired me to snowboard. And then I found out about magazines, and I was like, whoa, Transworld snowboarding and the rest, you know. I was just like, now I want to travel the world for that. But yeah, at first I was really into snowboarding just because of my friends around my area.
Rad. And okay, so like currently, see, I didn't know anything about you. You're an artist in the industry, though. People know you. Like, people are like, that guy's fucking famous. I'm like, oh, cool. Have you done art collabs with, you know, like brands that we all know?
Man, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. I'm an artist, but I feel like There's like thousands of Lucas Beaufort inside me, you know. I'm the hustle guy. I am like sometimes shy. I have so many things that I have in my head that people say like, you never stop. I literally never stopped. And I remember, I love to talk about this because everything started from this. I remember as a skateboarder, 14 years old, in my small village named Valbonne, in the southeast of France, sitting with friends with a Deca skateboards with their one song Pro Model. And I was like, guys, damn, I wish one day I will go to California. Not even saying like, I wish one day I will meet their one song. I say, I wish one day I go to California to see the amazing culture. And think about from this to now, then I got to meet Darren Song. I made boards for him. I made boards for Rodney Mullen. I made boards for Skate Mafia. I made boards for Almost Skate. I mean, so many zero skateboards. I got to talk to Jamie Thomas. I got to talk to the whole in Chad. I spent time with Chad Muska in his home in Hollywood back in the days. And I always like think about this little kid from 14 years old from a little village from France, sitting down, being in the same house with with Costin. I was in his. It's not just like you go to a show and you meet them because it's happening every day. No, you go to their intimacy. You're in their home. They show you like some personal stuff. You're like, wow. And I always remind me the days where I was a kid, where I was just like, I just want to be part of it. And now even more, I just create things to feed what fed me when I was a kid, you know? So I love to just remind this to me because this could happen to anyone if you just believe, if you just go for it, you know? I literally never had the chance to have people to help me for stuff, you know, like, so I had to work so much. I had to send 1,000 of millions of emails, you know, to try. And now what I love to do the most is just to help, you know. I got to always to think like, oh, I wish somebody could have helped me back in the days. And so now that's what I do every day. It's just like, hit me up, I help.
Oh, that's epic. Yeah, so that kind of that explains where the energy behind the Common Line is what is the project that where I just met you up in Whistler. And so it starts this buzz. And are you going to the thing? That's what people were calling it. Just the thing. You going to the thing in Whistler? You going to the thing? You going to the thing? Yeah, we're going to the thing. What is the thing? Nobody knows. We don't know. We're not sure.
See the Common Line, the name. It's again that it's like it's a journey of being a skateboarder, then snowboarder, then trying to find an identity, you know. And I feel like skateboarding really like shaped my identity and my personality, you know. And I say that all the time, but when I mentioned to my school and my parents that I want to be surrounded by this world, this is what is this about? There's no job about it, you know. And
yes.
and now I'm like, I proved them that it's a big thing. And so over 20 years from like being a skateboarder, then an artist, because I started to paint at 27. So you had to know that it's very late.
That is late.
And then I designed stuff for brands like skate and snowboard company. To the day, like in January this year, was like, dang, what can I do? It's snowboarding that is not just about me. Because honestly, I can draw snowboards every day, you know, and it's like, it's very egocentric, I'd say, you know, say, yeah, I've done a lip take board and I've done a ride snowboard and then a Burton board. It's like, it's always about me. And I'm like, I want to do better things, you know, bigger things. So I was like, now that I know the whole industry from media, athletes, brands, let's do something with them. And I was like, I don't want to have one brand to present my project. I want the whole industry together to celebrate snowboarding. So I started to have some calls slowly in June, and people were like, what the fuck are you trying to do? And then 2 months later, everybody was in. There's not one single snowboard brand that I didn't talk with and say, you got to be part of the Common Line. If not, you don't do snowboarding. And people were like, I do snowboarding. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, so over here in the Vancouver scene, I can only speak for my experience with it, but there is a kind of, I don't want to say low grade panic, but like sort of a negativity around who are these people that we're sharing the mountain with now? You know what I mean? What is this dope and Montec stuff? Like where does it come from? How come the people from it aren't intermingling with the community? So there felt like there was this real divide between community and industry, right? And industry wants to be a part of the community, right? And some people do both, right? Nick from Salmon Arms, he's got a company and he's a snowboarder. Like Rob from Wired, he has a company and he snowboards, you know? He's been a pro snowboarder in his life. But it's like, okay, all of a sudden the Nidecker family is buying up a bunch of stuff. It's kind of confusing, but aren't they snowboarders too? They've been into it for a long time. There's this Burton conversation that's been happening where in my mind, Burton went from being this kind of corporate thing to being just the most successful independent snowboard family in the world. So they're doing the things that these small companies would probably do if they were very successful and had 40 years under their belt, you know? They're not owned by some holding company that's just buying up and licensing brands. That's not their deal. They're still snowboarding, which is sick. And so like that conversation was happening in little pockets here and there. There's some anger, like fuck those losers that are showing up and ruining the hill. There was some like compassion, like how do we turn them into customers or how do we turn them into friends is what I was hearing at the common line. That, I mean, and that seems like the, you know, and there's always going to be the hardcore guys, always, that are very protective of the way it's been and the way they want it to be. And we need them. It's great. But snowboarding has matured, and we've actually matured through, in my opinion, a long period of juvenile companies, juvenile offerings of things, juvenile, like me, take, like we're owed this thing. But really, when you're out snowboarding with your buddies, it doesn't matter if the mountain's closed, there's no chairlifts, you're hiking. It doesn't matter if you're even near a chairlift or if you're paying $10,000 for a 3-day heli trip. The snowboarding part is the same. It's the same. It's always the same.
Yeah, and also, I come from this era. So I grew up snowboarding in the 90s. And the 90s, for skateboarding and snowboarding, it was tough. Just because if you don't have the right outfit, if you don't talk real, if you don't know what you're talking about, you're not included. And I was like, you know what it is when you're 14, 13, you go to a shop where it's really fucking core. I'm talking about a shop which is just snowboard only.
Yes.
And they look at you from top to bottom and they scan you. And you better know what you're doing. So from this to now, wow, it's a big shift. Totally. And I love to see like how you say it's matured now. And I can always think about like how difficult it was to be included back then. It was difficult because you needed to know what you're doing. And now the common line is the idea of like, I got messages on people saying like, oh, I'm kind of scared to show up because I don't really know this culture and I'm scared to ask something that is dumb. I'm like, please, the common line is about this. It's like to include everyone. And if you're here, it's for the right reason. It's because you're part of it or you want to know about it. And it includes everyone. And I want to use this platform with you to just say like, don't worry about it. Come over and you'll be accepted. No matter who you are and where you're from, this is my whole life, you know. I've been like hanging around with so many different people with like the craziest, I love every kind of people. I love like even the motherfuckers. Sometimes I try to find good things on them, you know, because there's always a reason why, you know. People are like, oh wow, this guy killed 10 people, and it's like, if you go a little bit deeper, he had probably the tougher life ever, you know. It's always, and I try to understand people more than just like judging, like, oh, you the worst on earth, you know. So yeah, you're talking about the core people that maybe some people say like, I don't give a fuck about the common line. I respect that. But if you want to sit down with me, I would love to, because I feel like a conversation could change everything.
Yeah. And so that's what the common line was to me when I left. I'm like, oh, this is opportunity in a mature community. That's what I'm thinking, right? Like an opportunity for companies to give back to the community, which was sick. There was a lot of giveaways. You were raising money. You raised a lot of money too.
Bro, you raised like 3.2K, which is like, to me, it's fucking amazing. I never raised that much. Every time I try to raise money, it's never more than 500.
Yeah,
which is okay.
yeah.
I think every single action to raise money for something counts.
Right.
Even if it's $20.
Right.
There's no like small money. It's just action.
Right, because it's an invitation to think of someone outside of yourself, which is it's this shortcut to happiness that a past guest, Steve Larossier, told me. If you're in service to someone else, that's where you're happy. So you get 20 boards.
Yeah.
And guess what? If I got 20 boards, I'd be pretty happy for a day. I can only ride one at a time.
Yeah.
Then eventually I'm going to feel kind of bad. I kept all these boards for me. Like, I don't need 20 boards. But if you give an opportunity to 500 people to win one of these 20 boards, and 22 of the people get to walk away with boards, dude, you got to feel good in your heart at the end of that. Even if you made no money for anything, it's just nice to be like, oh man, look at the smile on these faces. And look at so it's not just that you gave away boards. Also, they're one of a kind art boards. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a dope idea.
The thing is like, to me, there's a big, like I'd say the word behind the philosophy behind this project is like, think about this wall with all the boards. They were mainly white. So you mainly know what brand it is. And I love the fact of like having the whole industry in one wall without knowing, is it like Nidaker? Is it like Ride? No, we don't care about it. What we care is like, we're here for us. We're here for the community. And then I invited local artists, Caleb and Stack, to join me to paint, because that's super important. You can't like come from France and take over everything and be like, I'm the only artist painting here.
Right.
No, connect with the locals. So that's what I did with the Schmob crew. And then we painted on the boards, we give them away, then you flip them, and then you know which board it is. It's a battalion. It's a public board, wired, and that's super important to me, because it's like we all the same for a moment where every boards are white.
Yeah.
Then you discover what it is,
Yeah,
and
that's dope.
And we're not talking about numbers. Who's the best? Like Dino.
Totally.
I love Dino.
Love
Shout out
those
Sean
guys.
Genovese.
Hell yes.
Jeff Keenan and everyone. Like it's just like, I love snowboarding because there's so many different kind of snowboarding, different brands, different images. And I don't want to say there's one better. We have preferences, but for the common line, it's like, we need everyone, I don't want to see like a brand saying like, oh, I don't feel included. I'm like, yes, you are. Just show up. Like, example, Tech 9, Adriano. I didn't ever heard about that guy before the common line. He was like, bro, Tech 9 is coming back. Can I give away one board? It was just 5 days before the event. Tech 9 is back? Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with MFM and Tech 9,
Of course.
And then he showed up with the board. We painted it. We gave it away. And the next day, I saw Adriano shredding the park. It blew my mind. He's not only the guy repping the brand, he's a killer. And that's, I was like, okay,
I love that. That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing about the show. That's my favorite thing about the industry, is that when you go out and actually snowboard, just snowboarding, and you know what, you can make anybody a ripper. If you go out on a POW day and they're an intermediate level rider, you're riding, you get up there first, you get the first tracks, everybody rips in first tracks, everyone, because you're so happy and you're so creative. It's like painting. I can't paint. That's my art, is like going to a face and thinking, the feeling, not the look of it. Sometimes I think about the look of it, like, oh, I hope this looks good to people that see it. But really, it's about the feeling. It's about that okay, I'm going to go here and I'm going to do this turn here. I'm going to jump off that thing there. And then seeing other people doing it, right? Because being at work is fucking boring, dude. Someone saying like, I'm trying to sell you this new product. You got to get excited about this new thing. You're like, I'm not unless it's exciting. You know what I mean? Like work is boring. This is about making money and paying bills and doing dumb stuff. And when the snow is falling, I can't think of anything else. I'm not thinking about how to be better at work. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, how do I get out of work? How do I get to the mountain? Do I have to pretend I'm sick? Do I have to lie? What do I have to do the thing when it is time to do it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Unlike skateboarding, snowboarding has a window, a time window. It's kind of a longer window than surfing. Surfing is a very short time window. That's why there's so much aggression in it.
I mean, that's true. Like this is why I was skateboarding more than snowboarding, because skateboarding is so easy. You just get out of your house or apartment, and then you can go skate
everywhere.
If you have like a pavement,
smooth dirt, even.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like snowboarding, you have to wait for the snow.
Yep.
It's always far away from your home.
Yep.
Costs money. I mean, snowboarding. The only thing I can like say about snowboarding, it's so expensive. You know, overall. You know, if you don't have the connections, if you didn't grow like at the resort, dang, it's almost impossible, you know, to touch this world. So this is why I was more a skateboarder than snowboarder. But I used to hitchhike to the mountain because I couldn't afford the bus.
Yep.
And just like ride this just going up like with my walking up and going down with no lift ticket and having a blast.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's still fun. That's the thing. It's still fun. So yeah, I keep saying the community is maturing, which I don't like. I'm immature. Like I like being a kid. I like playful things. And the industry's not as playful as it was before. You know what I mean? They take it, a lot of snowboard companies are taking it very seriously. There's bottom lines to be met. There's materials, there's supply chain issues now. There's tariffs. There's all these big world mature problems in this thing, and then the community kind of gets stuck up on it. Oh man, boards sure are expensive this year. You know, it's like, well, then don't get a new board. You already have one. Paint it white and get an artist to do something that you like on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there is a lot of that in the snowboard community around Vancouver. There's a lot of people that go just like what you were talking about, like no lift ticket, set up some feature somewhere.
Build a kicker with your friends, bring like food and drinks and music, and you have the best time of your life.
Totally.
Like I don't really like going to the resort anymore. I prefer to snowboard less, pick the day when there's like good snow, and I just hike wherever I know the spot, you know, for 4 hours, crack a beer at the top of the mountain.
Totally.
And it's like, guys, we're going to have the best 15 minutes of our life right now.
Yeah.
You know, this is how simple I love snowboarding, you know, because when you get to the resort, it's crowded. You have to wait hours to sometimes get the lift, you know,
that was wild.
The chairlift. And it's like, that's not how I want to do things, you know. I want to, you know, the freedom, like when you go skate, you don't wait.
Yeah, there's no
snowboarding,
lift line.
I'm not complaining.
No,
Everybody knows that when it's like good snow, the sun and everything, you're gonna wait, and that's an element that I'm so like impassioned, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why like hiking, you don't wait, you just hike and go down, and guess what? You can do it again.
Yep. Yeah. I didn't do very many runs at Whistler, so we didn't link up for the second part of. So we've touched on that there was an art component, giveaways, raffle, keynote speeches from some of the most prominent Canadian snowboarders ever. I'm thinking Mary France Roy. I'm thinking Devin Walsh. Like, these are heavy hitters. Jess Camira. I don't want to leave anyone out, but there was so many great speakers. You had Dave Downing in town, so he came up. Jody Wozniak was the host of the entire thing. And there, Rasman and Solers and
Sean.
Oh man,
Bro,
Miskimen, yeah.
Honestly, like,
Cicerelli,
can I say something about it? Can I say something about it?
Please.
It's still like, I got messages from people from my childhood, you know. They said, is Devin Walsh Devin Walsh came to your event, and I almost cried. And they were not there, and I'm still like blown away, like Dave Downing and like those people that just like grew up with just watching snowboarding, and I'm speechless. But also it reminds me again the time where I was just like looking at them through MacDog videos and like the Resistance and Forum and all these things, and I was like, wow, those are my heroes. I'm not sure I will meet them one day, but they're like inspiring me, And from that to like next to me, and we're talking about snowboarding, like you had to understand that this is just like, to me, the biggest gift that I could happen in my life. Like in life, just like meeting the people that made you who you are. That's a chance. I talk to people like around me, they're like, I love football, like the soccer from France. It's like, wow, of course. And it's like, who is your hero? I love Zinedine Zidane. And I'm like, okay, do you know that when I meet Devin Walsh, it's like you having Zinedine Zidane next to you and talk to him. It's like, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
And it's like, I don't think so. I think you can meet Zinedine Zidane if you do everything on earth to make it happen.
Right. And so there's a saying over here, don't meet your heroes, right? And I even had, not my first comment, a comment this week about someone saying, look, I met Peter Line, he was a dick. I hate that guy. Disappointed. I'm like, yeah, that can happen for sure. That can happen. But in snowboarding, the vast majority of the time, and even with Peter Line for me, meet your heroes. Make sure that you look up to people that are cool.
You met Peter Line?
Oh yeah, man. I rode with them last year, opening day at Baker. It's like my life is like very parallel to yours. I'm a regular dude. I love snowboarding, and the access to people and their homes. You mentioned that too. Like going into someone's home and sitting around and seeing their personal life in front of you. It's such an honor, and it's such a what a trip. Like, what a trip for a kid that's like, I think this is important. Do you know what I mean? I think snowboarding is important. And then for a while, I put it away because I was like, I need to grow up. I need to get a job. I need to participate in this society that's around me. Obviously, it's here for a reason. No, man, no.
But again, I mentioned Devin Walsh because, it was the ultimate legend. I wasn't prepared to meet him. You have to know that, yes, I was inspired by him.
Yes.
But since like the time where Georgie said like, Devin want to participate?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't like, I was chasing to meet Devin.
Yes.
It came to me.
Yes.
Randomly,
Exactly.
And I was just like,
that's the power of what you're doing, dude. Like, and that's why I'm here. That's why you're going to be in Vancouver? Let me come and get you on the show because it's important what you're doing. So let's talk about where it's going from here. So the kickoff was Whistler. Good call. Yeah. Largest snowboard resort in North America. Epic.
For sure. And again, like I was like thinking about Revelstoke. Some people are like, why did you pick Whistler? I'm like, why not? First of all, why not? The community is huge there. I think about like everything around Whistler, from Vancouver to Squamish to there's a big insane community. So I was, let's pick Whistler, and also it's close to the next round, which is Seattle. So it just makes sense to me.
Perfect.
Seattle is the next round, which is this weekend. So Friday, December 12th, and man, I'm already like having goosebumps just thinking about like what Pat Bridges from Slush made it happen by like inviting insane people, like you're going to see Jesse Gronkowski from Air Blaster. You're going to see Joe Sexton from Public. You're going to see Blue Montgomery from Capita. You're going to see Brandon Cocker, Hannah Beeman, Buddy Merrill, Tim Zimmerman, Jesse Burtner on stage. What about this?
Unbelievable. Jesse is one of my favorite people I've ever met.
How is possible, And it's possible because I just think that the key is to link up with people that knows those people,
Of course.
And Pat is the man, Pat is one of an incredible individual, you know. He's been like into snowboarding for so many years. And he's like, when I met him in Tahoe this summer, I was like, do you want to be part of it? Do you want to be the MC for the roundtable at Tactics? Important to mention Tactics in Seattle. He says, dude, I would love to do it. So I invite the whole community on Friday, December 12th, Tactics Seattle. We open doors at 6 p.m. Please show up early because we start at 6:30 and it's going to be insane. If you want to have your seat, come over early. You can even camp the day before.
This won't come out until after it's out, but I will cut that clip out and I'll put it up for to get people out in Seattle. I'll see you in Seattle. Honestly, it's a 2-hour drive. I should go.
If you can do a little like reel or something, you know.
Yeah, I will.
Because I know it takes time to mix everything, but
of course,
just a little like when I say
that clip when I say you're gonna meet this guy, guy, you know. I'll do that.
It would be nice. So it's gonna make people hype, I guess, you know.
And that's the thing is that getting people hyped for because the size of this event, right? Like, so I've been in the snowboard industry side of it for a really long time. Started as a shop guy in 93. So I've been to a lot of these parties that industries have thrown, and some of them go off because they get out there, and some of them, they should be humongous. And the people are kind of just standing around looking at each other going, what the fuck? Like, there's 20 amazing dudes here and 20 people showed up. That's weird, right?
Yeah.
But Tactics, I saw Jamie Lynn's 30th anniversary.
Yeah. Recently, like, right? You had like
it was dope. That was dope.
You were
Peter
there?
Line was there, yeah. Like, and people were going off. Seattle is a sister city to Vancouver, and we have very similar scenes. So, like, while you're describing all those people, I'm going, oh my God. Like, so you're going to be this guy who joins these scenes together, right? Like, so that says, like, okay, this is what happens in Whistler. This is what happens in Seattle. Where other stops do you have?
So then it's overall 9 stops.
Yep.
It covers the whole season.
Yep.
So then it's Japan in January with Asaikawa. And every time we connect with the shop. Because for me, never forget that the common line is about to take people to the brick and mortar.
Yes.
And
cool.
promote that it's still a thing. Stop buying online. There's nothing to do about it. Just show up, talk to people, get the advices, try the boards. So I want to put a spotlight on them. So Japan, Asaikawa, then Nanshan in China. And then it's the last part is Europe. It's huge, 5 stops. It's Mayhofen in Austria.
Wow.
Lax, Switzerland.
Dope.
Avoria in France.
Sick.
Shout out Nico Droz.
Oh, sick.
Legendary is
sick.
like he's gonna be there.
Dope.
Of course. And then Oslo. And we finish with Finland at Levi mid-April, where it never gets dark. It's like in April, like the sun is up until like 11 or 12.
Amazing.
So we finish mid-April in Levi, Finland.
Dude, what a rad bunch of spots. So is this a one-off, one and done? Or now that you've got momentum, do you think that, you know, next year's common line will be Salt Lake City and Tahoe? And, you know, like, are you going to, is it something that you see being your future, or do you?
My God, man! Thank you for mentioning this. I'm the early stage of the project, but my mind is already in 26, 27. Where should I go? And not to spoil anything.
Yeah,
I want to go to places that are less like known. Like I won't probably do a stop in Chile, in Argentina, New Zealand, and maybe why not in Morocco? You know, there's mountains there.
There's good mountains in Iran, I've heard too, actually.
Yeah,
and like happy people. Like when anytime you go somewhere where there's snowboarding going on, you've already selected for the happy people from wherever you're at. Like, people aren't like, oh, I'm so mad and sad. I'm going to go skiing. You know what I mean? It's like, those are the people who are like, hey, my life is good. I'm going to go hit the slopes.
I'm like, what? I know I'm a good friend with Victor Davier, the French dude, the legend. And they've been to like places with Jérôme Tanon where like Afghanistan and all those places. There's like crazy mountains there.
Yeah.
But there's also people. And then when you get there with your snowboard, I've never seen that before.
Yes.
You see their eyes, they're like, what the hell is that, you know?
So
I think where I want to go with the common line is, keep like tight with the Mecca.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City for sure is in my head.
Yeah.
Next year.
Sure.
But let's not forget that we need to touch other people, you know, like the people that have never really touched a snowboard, you know, like how can we make this culture bigger by influencing people that have never heard or heard about it, you know.
I think you just made a gatekeeper style comment, right? If you bought your board online, then you're an online snowboarder. You know what I mean? You probably watch some YouTube videos on how to do heel sides and shit like that. You're like, maybe you watched a board review and you picked your board from, Angry Snowboarder is very popular.
Unboxing.
Yeah, wow. Unboxing, whatever.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. But if you bought your board at a brick and mortar store, I think you're instantly a part of this thing. And I don't want to make a hard divide. I'm just saying, if you're out there, you're listening to the show, and you realize right now, shit, I've never been into my local shop. Well, dude, that's all I've been saying. Like, go to your local shop. I know I try and promote my sponsors and stuff, but the shops are where it's happening. They're curating something beautiful for you. They are the reviewers. Go and check out the Tribute Lounge if you want to watch snowboard reviews. That's cool.
What's your local shop?
Our local shop here is Pacific Border, sponsors the show, the Boardroom.
Shout out to them.
Shout out Boardroom. Shout out West Beach just came back.
Yeah, so I saw West that. Beach I was like, they had a party when I went to Whistler. I was like, damn. Because West Beach is a brand I grew up with, same, you know?
Yep,
I feel like I grew up with snowboarding.
Yeah.
So yes, snowboarding was a thing in the 80s. But let's say early 90s in France, it was so small.
Yeah.
And when I was riding the mountain, people were like, what the fuck is that?
Totally.
You know, so I lived that. And I grew up with like Nitro. Because Nitro is that what, 89.
89.
So it's like, and it's one of the oldest.
Very.
But if you think about like Forum, when Forum started.
99. 10 years later.
99?
98 maybe.
98? So I was there.
Yeah.
One day I was like, what is Forum?
Totally.
It's a brand new brand. It's very new. There's Peter Line and all those crazy JP Walker. Sick. And I was like, okay, I was hooked right away.
Totally.
But it's insane when you grow with the history of snowboarding.
Yes.
It's different than just like you start snowboarding in 2015.
Right.
Of course, there's new people all the time, the youth.
Yeah.
But it's like, I love rap music.
Sure.
And French rap music is huge, you know?
Sick.
And I feel like I discovered rap music when it started. Rap music started in France, like early 90s.
What's a sick early 90s?
MC Solar, like...
MC Solar.
MC Solar. There's I Am, there's NTM.
Yeah.
All those people were the foundation.
Yeah.
To where it is now. It's the biggest industry. You know that French rap music is the second industry for rap music in the world after the US.
Way.
US first and then France in terms of sellings and importance.
That's wild.
So I feel like I feel so blessed that I grew up with what I love the most, like skateboarding, snowboarding, and rap, with the culture itself, you know?
Yeah. We're lucky. We're definitely lucky because of the time period that we got to experience it in. But hey, look, if you're getting into snowboarding right now, you're extra lucky too, because you don't have to go through duct tape on your boots and crappy product and not really, freezing cold outerwear, all that sort of stuff. You've got the technical stuff to get out there. The hurdles you have to pass is there's a lot of weird stuff out there, weird directions that you could get pulled in. As long as you're just going snowboarding, you'll be fine. And if you bump into one of these guys like a Nick Haranga and you see that,
Nick is the man.
He's the man.
You know?
He was so articulate at your event. I was so happy to see him speak publicly.
Yeah, very solid. What he says, even John Martin, from wow, the love for John Martin from Whistler. People were
wanted to say,
John Martin, we love you, because he's the shop man. He's been there for 15 years.
Yeah.
And every day he opens the door, he's hyped.
Yeah.
After 15 years, you could be a little bit bored. You could
this is a circle, right?
Yeah.
And originally you wanted to do the common line at the circle.
Yeah,
and
that's
then it snowballed so big that the space wasn't big enough.
Thanks for mentioning this, because again, I think there's a room for everyone, but
Yes.
the core little shop, and I was like, yes, I reach out to John Martin from the circle to do it there.
Yeah.
And then we found out there's no room to do a round table there. And Jody said, there's a new store for Evo that could be perfect. And I didn't want to, I get it, when you talk to the circle saying like, do you mind if we connect both like the circle and Evo together? They could say, we don't think about it. I don't think it's a good idea. And they were like, let's do this.
Sick.
They understood that we need them. They have a incredible like room for it. And shout out to Evo as well, because they supported it. They, with all the gears, like we needed crazy gears for this thing.
Yeah, the space was.
They covered
epic.
it.
It was crazy.
So
beautiful.
thanks them for doing that, because they knew it was for the good.
Yeah, I think that's where your event stands out and is what we need right now. It is that it's for the good. That's it. Like, you're not personally being like, okay, and now let me unveil the new brand called the Common Line with hats and T-shirts and outerwear and snowboards and bindings. And no, you're just like, this is a dream, and we still need dreamers in snowboarding. That's the truth, is that it's not over. We haven't made everything that's going to be made, and we haven't done everything that's going to be done. And some people dream about adding another 180 on a spin, and some people dream about inventing crazy snowboard technology, 3D bases and double edges or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're dreaming about a community that's inclusive, that includes the industry, that includes the people that do it, that includes the lifties and the mountain resorts and the enthusiasts and the guys that are like, I'm thinking about snowboarding. Should I go to your event? I have never done it before. Yeah, go. Check this out. As if you wouldn't be inspired to see, Devin Walsh and the Schmob crew. Every era of snowboarding is represented.
Past, future.
Yeah.
In the same room.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And I really want to take this thing to the best of, of what we have to promote. I really want to take this project. Like, I love you saying like, what's the vision next? Bro, I will never stop this thing, because I'm hooked already. Like, this is like part of me, and you can't start something and just give up the next year. Imagine I said, oh, there's no common line anymore, or just I want to take a break. I'm an artist. I have like 10,000 projects aside this thing. I need to remind myself I need to paint murals around the world. But that's what I love with life, is the diversity on things, I can't just paint canvases every day. I need to travel. I need to try new things. I need to get into like different world, like I love the food, and I work with a lot of like restaurants around the world and hotels. It's just like I'm open to so many things that, the common line hopefully will be there still for in 10 years.
Rad. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for telling me what this is about. Thanks for doing what you're doing, which is like a real big gift to not just the snowboard community, but to the industry and to anyone who's going to snowboard in the future. So I think this is a good way to honor what's happened before, is like the community definitely, Sims and Burton and Barfoot and the early guys like grinded on each other. But at events, they would come together and they would ride together. They would actually ride together, which is sick. And that's where we come from. And thanks for making an event that promotes us continuing to do that.
I appreciate you just coming here in my hotel to do it, because I value this so much. Just people are coming and say like, Lucas, can we talk about it? I'm like, oh yes, let's for sure. But let's never forget that in our community, they are like the pioneer, and sometimes they feel like disconnected or just like, oh, they feel that nobody thinks about them. And I want to say, in my opinion, like it's very important to bring them like those people that made what it is nowadays, and having the youth as well and say, because the youth sometimes they say, yeah, the old dudes always think like we don't understand shit. We just scroll on the phone. I think that we have better things to say. Let's just educate the kids. Let's just having the old mans, and let's keep like thriving with what we love.
Well said, dude. Fuck, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Amazing. We stayed in time.
Let me take a photo. Let me take a photo.
Yeah,
Don't
please.
move. Just love to have this as a... This is Penelope.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm helping out a little bit.
Oh,
for
so
the
nice
tour.
to meet you.
That microphone real close. I know you love being
It's been a
loud.
while. I was listening to everyone and their points and stuff. I really enjoyed that. It was nice to see some like conflicting views a little bit and like where money came into the conversation and stuff. And like, I think it's really important to just remember that like when we started snowboarding, like money wasn't part of it, right? We're out there to like snowboard, meet people, and just do stuff. You said it's a sport. It can be a sport. It can be just for fun. It can be a way of connecting. It can be a way of just like basically forgetting what's, you know, back at home, anything like that. So to like put a definition on what exactly it is, I think that's like a little close-minded, right? But I think it's super important that we just, you know, do our best to show people why we like snowboarding, right? Like if you see that guy on the slope and he's got the whatever slider lock snowboard and his stance is this big, right? We can make fun of him, or we can tap him on the shoulder and just pull him aside and like set him up, right? And I think that's like something anyone in this room can do. You don't need to be a pro snowboarder. You know, you can be a fan of snowboarding. You can work in a shop. Like it's up to you to make snowboarding look cool.
I agree with you. I think it's very common for younger people to come up to people like us, the old heads, and be like, how do I make it? And what's like, you know, should I send my tape or whatever? Like, you know, like, and it's so funny because we didn't grow up this way. I mean, I never personally thought I would make it as a pro snowboarder. I didn't know there was money in it. And we did it because we loved the culture. It was a fringe community, no rules, no parents, no coaches, no offense. But I love that about snowboarding, and I hope we never lose that. And like, I think contests will always have a place and we need it. But I think that, yeah, the love of snowboarding for what it is, you still see like so many snowboarders in this town, like Joel Lovren, who likes, most people here snowboard, work all summer to pay for what they love. And, you know, even if the industry falls and collapse, we can still do that, which is a beautiful thing, you know? So
Yes.
let's remember that.
Can you repeat the exact question?
Yes, I can. How can we support, guide, and empower the next generation?
Thank you. I kind of get lost when Marie's talking. Like in your eyes. I think not alienating ourselves from them. And I think there's like a point, and I've seen you do this really well, the good part of it, that there's when you're a pro snowboarder or you're somebody in the industry who's established, at some point you get to a point where there's now a whole other generation below you. And it's hard not to like feel weird that you're like not a part of this thing. So that's when I think a lot of the old heads are like, oh, fuck you, kids don't know shit. But it's like, you don't talk to the kids, you don't involve yourself with the kids, and you don't put effort into going to the events to see the kids and building relationships with them. Like that's, you can't just complain about something without doing something to change it. So I think just trying to be involved and get out there more. Thanks, Jody.
And you said it, you know, it's very important to, you know, communicating and I just like give back. I'm 44, everybody knows now. I spend like hours on the phone with random people. Like I get reached out from the kids on Instagram, like, hey, I love what you do. I'm kind of lost. I'm like, give me a number. Let's chat. I'm like, really? And then we have a conversation for an hour. The kid is like, wow, man, you give me hope now. That's all I want to hear. It's just like give people like, let's hope again, you know. And what you say about like, if the industry collapsed, we will still snowboard anyway. And I love what you said, because if you love snowboarding with or without money, you do it anyway. That gives me goosebumps, what you said. And it's the same for me, you know, it's like, I love, you know, skateboarding and snowboarding, and I never been like a sponsor or whatever, you know, but I don't care. I loved it so much. And what you said, it's everything to me. Thank you.
I think most professionals, just to speak on what you were talking about there, eventually it's the dream. And then once you start living the dream of being a professional, you realize that it comes with like way more, like less snowboarding and a lot of things that you don't necessarily like think of when you're a kid. So that like process of just loving snowboarding, like when you see a 15-year-old who just loves it, you're like, that is such a special time in their, and not only in their life, but in their journey with snowboarding, because it is kind of a journey. But like to those people that never tried to be a pro or whatever, sometimes I envy them. I'm like, wow, like my friends back home go snowboarding on a really shitty hill. They go to Assissippi as a group, and all my old friends get together and they go to this hill and they snowboard together a couple times a year, and it's the best day ever. And that's all they need, and that's their relationship with it, and it's fine, you know. I just think that that's kind of a, you know, you don't necessarily need to dream and have aspirations to be a pro, because maybe at the end of the day it wasn't really worth it anyway. Definitely not financially. Anyway,
I mean, Johnny, so I'm a full-time artist, and when I started, I never thought I could be a full-time artist. I just started, you know, and it's just like 1 drawing, 2 drawings, 3 years later, I felt like I had a chance to do it, but I never started thinking that I could leave out of to be an artist, you know? And I think that snowboarding should be the same, right? Like when you start, if you're 6 years old and you're like, I want to be a professional, that's like maybe your parents push you so hard. And I think like when you start, it's just because it's a fun thing. And if brands want to give you money to ride, that's an amazing thing. But the very first step should be just like for the love of it, I guess. And when I hear like teenagers being like, oh wow, I want to have sponsors, I'm like, bro, just snowboard and it will come. I'm sure it will come.
it will come. Like it will. It's like if you snowboard and you're young and that your only focus is to get sponsored, it'll happen. It'll happen faster than you expect. But at the end of the day, I don't know if that's going to be this magical place that maybe it will be. You know what I mean? It all depends on your, perspective on everything. But don't put too much pressure on that, Enjoy those times where you're just doing it for the simple, I look back on those days and they were the greatest days of my life to some degree. I mean, I'm so happy about right now. It's perfect. Everything's great. But those I look at with fond memories when you're just this kid with wide eyes who just loves snowboarding.
I mean, same with you with Airtime. When you started, what was the first drive for you? Or you're like, I'm going to make millions. No, it was just like, you want to promote snowboarding, right? What was the journey?
Well, I don't know if you want to hear the whole story, but it's kind of because I lost my mind during COVID. And my roommates were like, man, you talk a lot, and a lot of it's about snowboarding, so maybe you should talk to somebody else other than us. And so I did. Shout out Sean and Cash for getting me to do that. But anyways, we'll pivot this back to Nick here. What has coaching kids taught you about snowboarding and your relationship to snowboarding?
Well, I think the same thing that I was saying before is that I'm in the business as a brand owner and a coach. It's the same outlook, I'm here to build snowboarders. I'm here to show why snowboarding is fun and show that it's accessible to people. I come from a family that doesn't ski. I found snowboarding on my own, and it was people that kind of gave me tough love in the beginning. Obviously, I was super tall, and they thought I was older and shit, but it was that tough love that made me want to do it more, right? And I think being able to give that back to kids and show them that they can do anything if they put their mind to it, and they can participate, they can be part of it. They don't need to be a pro snowboarder, they don't need to be an athlete. They can just have someone that they trust show them the way, basically. And so that's what I'm here to do, and we can all do that. You don't have to be a coach to do that. Just literally ask a person a question on the chairlift, take a ride with them, and you might have built a fucking snowboarder for life there. So it's super important to just think about your actions rather than just complain about shit, right?
That's good. Yeah, well said. next here. What have you learned about community from starting the event, the Triple Plank, which has been a raging success?
Raging success. I learned that community is everything. It's the best thing that we have, whatever thing you're into. We're into snowboarding, skateboarding, surfing. That's what Triple Plank is about. But it's really about, the best part is bringing people together for about 4 days, camping together in the muddy parking lot, pissing rain, and somehow people are still stoked, and it's very impressive. And I don't know, I think I think with this social media era, whatever, there's a lot less time in person. You know, like Devin mentioned, like he misses the times where the premieres came out and we all gathered. And I think that we need more of those in-person events, like what you just created. I can't believe how many homies are here tonight. I'm really impressed. Everyone's here. It's so cool. And I think that's the ticket, to be honest. And that's what keeps people coming. Like, I was just on the chairlift today by myself with strangers, skiers. No offense. But I was like, this is so boring without my friends. And it's community, right? I love snowboarding, but when you have friends and like you can share it with people and give back at the same time, it's the best. That's all I'll say.
I agree. Full time.
Yeah, it's one thing that I've realized now at my age and just being older and just going to Bald-Faced and that risk maturity course, and you get together with a bunch of snowboarders, and once you've lived a life with somebody in the mountains, in the park, you know, you hit that 15, 20, 25-year marker with people, it's not like, yeah, you saw them taco on a lip slide on a kink rail a long time ago and you saw them overshoot a jump and land on their back, but you've also seen that person go through like life and some real shit. And then 20 years later, when you know those people have been through real shit, you get to see them, you realize you truly see how special those relationships are. And sometimes it's hard to show up to events like this. Like if you're really not, you know, if life gets hard or whatever, like especially for someone who's introverted or whatever, sometimes you wonder if you should even go. And the answer is you should go. Like, life does get hard, and maybe tonight you don't talk to that many people or whatever, but you got out of the house, and it's nice not to be at home sometimes alone with your thoughts, and it's great to sometimes just be hanging out in the pouring rain at the Triple Plank, you know?
Come on out.
Jess, so it's kind of hard to put into words just how successful this event is. Like I said, going there firsthand really changed my whole perspective on this event. I knew it was important and stuff, but there was an energy in the air that I've never felt before. And I just want to hear you talk about, have you seen a shift or any changes from, starting this event?
Yeah, I don't know if it's wouldn't say it's from starting the event, and I don't think like it's the event itself that's so great. That the event itself is not what you felt. What you felt was a group of people who have never been pushed to the front of the line finally get pushed to the front of the line, and that's why it's like such genuine excitement and stoke there, you know. But yeah, things have changed a lot for the girls scene in the past few years. And with the event, it's easy to see like firsthand in real time how fast it's progressing. And a lot of people say, oh, yeah, the girls are sick now. Like, yeah, of course, we want to support it now. But they don't realize that it's because there has been some visibility and there have been opportunities. It's not like one without the other. The girls got good because people stopped telling them to fuck off, straight up. And I feel like social media sucks in a lot of ways, but it's not black and white. I had to sign up the other day, connect my account with from one of my sponsors so they can like watch our metrics, and that was scary. And I was like, that sucks. But the part that doesn't suck about social media is that it leveled the playing field. Anyone had the same chance to get seen. It wasn't the gatekeepers who were choosing who gets to be in the videos or who gets to be featured or who gets to be on the team. Everybody had a chance to show what they could do. So I think that had a huge thing to do with like how fast things have progressed for the girls too, because they didn't have to wait for like the one video with the one girl that was in it to come out. Or the one pro model of Vera's, the shop. There's also a cap at a pro model. That shop. I love you, Caleb, wherever you are. I do love you. Yeah, it's an arbor.
Yeah, what about the arbor
spoon.
pro model?
I agree. I just feel like, yeah, you need that. There's too much professionals in factories not grabbing them in their video parts, and I'm like, I don't get it. So sure, some video parts, but make sure I feel the same. You know, does that make sense?
It does. Okay, so to close off this great panel here, we got one more question here.
Hey, wait. I just feel like video parts should be, you want to set a record of what you're capable of, what the standard, what snowboarding is today. Here's my contribution to it. So be selective, you know, it serves the whole snowboarding as, you know, the tighter you are, like, be able to explain why every trick's in there, or what are you trying to give me with that, I guess. But I know it's creative, but I'm getting bored sometimes, so it's, sorry.
Dana, what do you think could disappear if we don't care and nurture our culture? Like, what's something that you'd be like, oh, that could evaporate, and that's important, or a pillar?
To be honest, I think it's already evaporated. It's like viable careers. You know, it's so tough to make it at this point. It's like it was in the late 80s. Very few people are making any money, and you know the dream of going out to the mountains is harder than ever. It's so expensive to do. It's ridiculous. A setup these days. Now you can always do that. You can always go and get a cheap board. You can always get up there and hike. There's ways. But, the thriving culture of the 90s happened because everybody who was into it, and there wasn't this kind of periphery. It was like everybody was in and all in. We don't reach out to the 3-time-a-year snowboarders at all. They are not part of our culture, and we're not interested, and that's a mistake. We want to grow it. We have to give a shit about the people who are on the periphery and make them core. Teach them how. Bring them in.
Educate them, yeah. Get them in.
I do all these core motherfuckers out there just be like, fuck those guys, man. They take up my lift. Yeah, but they don't take the lines. They do not take the lines. Mike? They are the lines. You're not in the line, you are the line.
Yeah, I liked what Daniel said there. You can't lose the essence of professional snowboarding. I don't know. My whole life has been around snowboarding, thriving to be on it, and I would be hated for that not to be an opportunity for a kid coming up from Ontario, wherever you grow up. And we got to make sure you're so right, is that the mass market of those people that are actually buying the products, we need to make sure they feel it's almost like if we can just show them how rad it is. They know it is because they're coming out to snowboard every weekend, but giving them a little bit more to grab onto, I just do it even when I'm on the hill. I have conversations with people. Why did you buy that gear? Did you buy it because of the video? Sadly, most of the time, I think it's hard to find people that know. And you talk to a lot of people, and I want that to be I want to try this right. That's what I want. That board, or that. That needs to happen. And the only way you can do that is through good storytelling, really.
Exactly.
I think it goes back to history, it's like if we lost this, Reddit, the story about snowboarding and everything, especially with the youth and the young generation, we're gonna, lose everything. So I think like I love you like bringing the idea of like the history, how important it is. Because if we lose this through generations, you know, like what we're gonna have left, like just a story on Instagram, you know. I feel like that's super important to keep like talking and like connect and saying, hey, you know what happened in the 80s and the 90s, you know. So it's our duty, older snowboarders, to kind of like keep spreading this, you know, instead of like complaining about like, oh, the kids that don't give a fuck. I'm sure they just don't know, you know. So if we just like spread the idea, I'm sure like the history will like stay something important.
Yeah, I think there's too much of a divide in a way between like the YouTubers, influencer type that aren't like in the scene. Maybe if there was more of a another hot take, but if they're included, and we start saying they're poor, and you make sure that we keep them in check, and like this, and same for whoever. But like, here's the storyline of our culture, and to not have them create like a separate reality of what snowboarding is, and if at least like we all agreed on where we came from and where we intend on going, and try to make it like, no, they're not us, therefore we don't participate in what they do. As much as that one divides in other places, I think let's agree on what snowboarding is and what it could be if we all said this is rad, this is counterculture, but you're in. You can be, and you don't need to be like chasing some other businesses over there.
You know, there was an era in surfing when the hui regulated, and if you didn't do it the hui way, you were fucking out. And we can't take the hard role with the clowns who are influencers, because they're winning. They're winning by reach. They understand the system better than we do. And so we have to teach them, not fucking beat them, you know? It has to be kindness at this point. It can't be regulated. You got to bring them in the fold. Or fucking get rid of them.
I mean, the one thing that they don't have though is this. Like, what's in here is so real. Like everyone in here to some degree loves snowboarding or skiing or moto or skateboarding or surfing, and we love those things so much. And I do think it's to say where we came from wasn't important is mind-boggling to me. Like and the older again, it's kind of like a family tree. Like you get to the end of the road, and I feel like the older you get, the more questions you have about like your family, you know what I mean? And like where you came from. And so I get when you're 18 years old or you're a teenager and you're not infatuated by, you know, who Jamie Lynn was or who Devin Walsh is or who Ken Onkachuk is or Dano or whatever, Nick. Like you have all these like monumental people that are here tonight. Like those people are super important. And it's nice when you get the itch to study those people. And so hopefully through conversations like this, people take the time to learn about those incredible individuals that have literally shaped this thing for not monetary value, but just because they love sliding down some snow.
Yeah. Thank you, every one of you, for coming out and participating in Culture Tonight. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys. And my intern, Dara, who also works for Airtime, has to go do some stuff at the whiskey premiere, so we shuffled her to the earlier show, which shuffled some things around. So we thank the panel for, you know, shuffling around here.
I was not aware of any of this shuffling.
Yeah, well, just because it would stress you out, so. Dara, do you have any advice for the industry, guiding it in a general good direction?
I think what you both said was very important to, just remember where we came from. Snowboarding started as like a pretty punk rock counterculture, and I just hope that we continue to remember that and move in a direction that supports that. And
do you think, this is for all of you, and you too, Lucas, do you feel that social media metrics are guiding snowboarding in a right or wrong direction, or at least a unique direction, because they hold so much weight, I feel like, these days? Is that a good thing, a bad thing?
I just don't think it's a very meaningful thing. A lot of that weight can just be bought with money. You know what I mean? Like those metrics aren't real. They're not super tangible.
Yeah, and honestly, I think everyone's bullshit radar's pretty in tune right now. So when you're looking at social media, kind of, especially with the rise of AI, you can kind of see what's authentic and what isn't. out there. So as far as like the metrics go, I don't really think so, because I mean, we look at Louis, who won, I think, Rider of the Year 2 years in a row or something like that, and he had like 8,000 followers on Instagram. So it's like, yes, there's a certain degree of weight, but I personally don't categorize it, because I think it's like the people in this room, the peers of snowboarding, that really make the decision. I think everyone can kind of see through what is authentic and what isn't nowadays.
One thing I've noticed is social media has kind of been the downfall of our community, because we used to gather for movie premieres, and that was like a huge thing, like kind of waiting for the footage to come out. Now it's just thrown to you throughout the winter, and like, you know what I mean? It was kind of nice to gather and wait. Like, there's nothing more special to me growing up was waiting for September for the movies to come out and see, and like gather with my friends and get hyped for the season, go buy new product, and and that social media is kind of, our magazines are gone. Like, magazine was so rad to, there's a few, but it's been sad to kind of see that. I know it doesn't touch on metrics, but I just hate social media that way.
FNRad shoutouts this week to Lucas Beaufort. Thanks for doing the show, man. Thank you, Dano Pendergrass, Mikey Cicerelli, Ben Billock, Jody Wachniak, Devin Walsh, Mark Solers, Mary France Roy, Jess Camira, and Nick Harenga for your contributions to this week's show. Special thanks to our Patreon listeners. You can get ad-free episodes of FNRad for the cost of a cheap cup of coffee and support the show directly. Check out our website, fnradpodcast.com, for a link to the Patreon. Thanks, Evo Whistler, for hosting the very first The Common Line. And very special thanks to Paradox Hotel's daytime manager, Leica, for letting us record in the hotel lobby. Be sure to come back next week for more FNRad snowboarding, presented by Flojoy Water and brought to you by FNRad Productions.